Hello again. This is Ardell Daniels coming on live, talking about the butt naked truth. Last time, the butt naked truth is basically speaking things and saying things truthfully, especially as you see it and as it happens. Many people are very afraid of the butt naked truth, but one thing the Bible says, the fact that the truth shall make you free. And when the truth make you free, you don't have to look for nothing else. And that's what people are afraid of. They're afraid of the truth. So my particular show is talking about really the truth as it is. And as I'm going to start and basically just kind of give you a real synopsis of how things are and coming up to today's date right now. And basically, have my salvation, how I got saved and things of that nature. And at the times, I think I left off, whereas when I got saved, I was married to a young lady, and I had 2 kids. And I was basically, just curious, because my mind was into the dope trade and doing things, anything that I wanted to do, and with a very strong lust spirit. So I was just trying to rekindle some old relationship with a young lady that I dealt with in the past, which was Kimberly Parrish at the time.
3, 1, 2, 3.
Hello, here we go again. Ardell Daniels back in town, back ready to bring forth the butt naked truth. The butt naked truth. And this one thing that you always look forward to and you can always count on is the truth to be told. And the only way that you can tell the truth is as you see it and how you experience it. And that is what this show is all about, is telling the truth in every aspect of ministry as I experienced it. Because people need to be told the truth. And thank God that I had, some experiences in ministry and going around the countries and going around the United States just to observe some things and see the pros, the cons, the ins, the outs, the mistakes, and also the blessings and the miracles and the signs and the wonders. So here's the truth. It's coming at you. It's coming at you. The truth. Now let's pick where I left off at. Now last time we spoke about my life, basically, which I was a young man out of Belgrade, had some things, got married, a couple of kids, met a lady, got saved, and I left my wife, got with this lady that led me in the sinner's prayer, and from that particular point, got a couple of kids, and me and this lady got in ministry, and we stayed in ministry, built the ministry, and for about almost 20 years. Matter of fact, when the ministry started, I think she had maybe about 10 people. And so she was going through a divorce. And so I divorced my wife and started in this ministry. And really mesmerized by the anointing, because she was a preaching machine. Preaching. And not only that, but the signs and wonders of me by casting out demons and things of that nature, which I never knew anything about. And the thing is, I knew that it was real because the first example was myself. I got the demons cast out of me. And so nobody can tell me that demons did not exist. And when I got delivered from the spirit of pride, when I got delivered from smoking crack, marijuana, drinking liquor, and things of that nature, after drinking and smoking for 27 years. Smoking crack for 19 years. Not play smoking, but really smoking. And going through all the little things, in reference to that goes along with crack, in the little crack houses, going, tricking and the whole 9 yards. I did it all. But in this particular encounter on February 26, 1996, 11 o'clock in the morning, I got deliverance through this young lady and a friend of hers, in which they prayed for me, which I am so thankful of. Matter of fact, in that particular session of prayer, when I got up off the floor and began to start to cry because I never felt so good in my life, I began to pray in tongues, and I couldn't stop praying in tongues. I couldn't even speak in English for 6 hours straight. I couldn't control anything. I went from that point, and I thought the thing to do was to follow that. And as I followed it, I had to make a decision, and I made a decision to leave my wife and my kids and follow this lady. And not only that, but I got married to her. Now, you would say, well, you know, that's the wrong thing to do, and I would agree that was the wrong thing to do. But I guess, you know, at that particular time, she was young, I was young, and I just thought, you know, this was God, because I've been trying to stop smoking crack for 15 years, and all of a sudden now here's something that caused me to stop. I thought it was God. And she confronted, she thought, you know, God called us to get married. So basically, we got married, and the next thing you know, I got pregnant, got twin boys, and started in the ministry, which a ministry had already, it was in existence, but it just didn't have no people. So we started off from Tallahassee, moved to Jacksonville. Went back to Jacksonville and renovated the church. I took the construction crew that I had, and we renovated the church, got it back going, because it was a dilapidated building. But anyway, we did what it took to bring it back to order, and everything began to grow. She wrote books. She got popular. We traveled all over the world, all over more than 30 different countries, went over 40 different states, preached everywhere, cast out demons. She generally would preach, I would pray and cast out demons. That's what we did. Logged in over 1 million miles, frequent flyer miles, and acquired quite a bit of assets, material things, and met all types of people, young people, old people, also, you know, rich people, poor people, and God had just given us favor. You know what I'm saying? She was a real preaching lady. And also, you know, casting out demons, and that's where I learned. I learned a whole lot in ministry. I learned a whole lot of the Bible. And at that particular time, you know, not truly knowing, knowing the, how would you say, the foundation or the basic things in order to keep you saved. Yeah, I was just like anybody else. I followed the signs, wonders, and the miracles. You know, follow those signs and follow those wonders and miracles, and that just took center stage in my heart and everywhere. But then certain things, you know, just like you would see in anybody, you know, that's gifted, you know what I'm saying? Certain things, they have problems. Certain things that don't quite hit you right. And you realize then, you know, hey, I know that, you know, I'm not super spiritual. When I was coming up with my family, I wasn't super spiritual, but certain foundational truth, certain basic things that which is wrong and right, you have to stick with. And so, you know, just watching a few things that were going on in ministry, that certain things just wasn't right. Certain things just didn't hit me right. So, you know, you begin to get a little disagreement, you know, and not only disagreement in ministry, but you got disagreements even in marriage. So, and my biggest thing, I just fell in love with Jesus. Fell in love with Jesus, fell in love with his people. That was me, you know, and I can't say whether she wasn't in love with people or the ministry or things of that nature, but I know one thing: she loved money, and I guess you need money in order for the ministry to go, understandably. But it wasn't center stage in my life, and I felt like it was center stage in hers. But you know, needless to say, things moved on, and it kept going. Many people got set free. I prayed for quite a few people, cast out. Oh God, so many devils that I can't even count, of every kind. But one thing I can say, along the way, I got myself cleaned up also. And you see, and this is the most important thing in reference to deliverance ministry, is the fact that you have to get yourself cleaned up. If you don't get yourself cleaned up, then how in the world can you clean up somebody else? The thing is this right here. Yes, you can minister to them. But the thing, what comes about, you know, you always leave them and see the freedom they have, and then you have to go back home with the demons that's down on the inside of you that you know you have. So I made it a point that as I ministered to people, I went and got ministered to also by someone that I know that cared for me, that loved me, and not only that, but was not afraid to tell me what I didn't want to hear. And most people, especially when they get in ministry, certain things they just don't want to hear, and then when they don't want to hear, they make up a reason, since they're an authority, and say, well, you're not mature, or you're not spiritual enough to tell me this, or tell me that I got this or I got that. But see, I myself, you know, I didn't take no chance, because I knew what it was like to be on crack. When you're on crack, you know, people call you anything and everything, and you don't get offended. You know, you just want that crack. So when I came into God, I didn't worry about no offense. I just wanted to be clean. I just want to be clean whatever way I can. Because once I experienced deliverance, I felt light as a feather. Not only did I feel light as a feather, but I felt like that I can confront, I can deal with anybody and look them straight in the eye. Because when you can look someone straight in the eye when you speak to them, then you know without a shadow of a doubt, you ain't got nothing to hide or nothing, you know, to hide from nobody. You can just speak to them because you're free. You got to be free. You got to be free. And this particular show is basically the truth about being free. And you can't get free unless you confront and you deal with the truth. And that's why I want to get back to where I started off and saying that I, you know, left my wife and married this lady and married this young lady and had kids from her and grew the ministry. And it got to a point whereas as you grew, you did a lot of things, and she was the one start the ministry, and you know, and everybody get ordained as an apostle and this, that, and the other, and she was gifted and things of that nature. And I noticed that basically I felt like it was a confusion, whereas, you know, in the household, whereas in the household, the man is the head of the household, and the woman, not saying that she's a secondary thing, but then she submit to the husband. But yet still in ministry, you submit to the person who's in charge of the ministry, which didn't have no problem. But it's a fine line. It's a fine line. It's a fine line that you have to walk in that. And when you're not submitted to the Holy Spirit, then that line get distorted. Matter of fact, it get to be gray, and you don't know. In other words, when it's time for you to submit, you don't submit because you're still in the groove of being the apostle or the head of the ministry, and not realizing that the basic foundation between a man and a woman is the fact that there must be a type of respect and understanding and submission on both behalf. It ain't the fact that a woman submitting to a man, but she got to submit in reference to God. It ain't about the man. It's about what God wants and what God say. And so I felt like that particular area really got real clouded. And not only get clouded, but you know, you once you're traveling around and you see how other ministers, I'm talking about big time ministers, men, whatever, you know, and when you're married to a lady and she's the one that's anointed, she's the one that get the speaking, and she's the one that does everything, she's the one that everybody's looking forward to, then you see how men that's in ministry quickly forget about the basic foundational things in reference to a relationship between a man and a woman, or between a husband and a wife. Because I've seen a time whereas, you know, I've been in places whereas, you know, you have a pastor that's inviting a lady to speak, and then matter of fact, he won't even acknowledge you or speak to you, or wouldn't even invite you in the office while he's talking to your wife. And you see in a situation like that, you know, it's up to the wife to say, hey, this is my husband. He goes where I go. But, you know, unless you have a selfish spirit, or that you just naked truth. Here we go again. I just want to basically pick up where I left off at. And last time I left off it with the word decently and in order. And that's where I was in a relationship, married, you know, decently in order. And I was saying that, you know, decently in order, you know, I was beginning to get I would just say mixed emotions about you, because I didn't feel like I was being respected, and not to say that what another person's feeling, it's just the fact that that's what I felt at the time. You know, I wasn't the what you will call the out front person. You know, this person was the head in the church. She was the one that had the speaking engagement. She was the one that had the notoriety. She wrote the books and things of that nature. But the thing in reference to a husband and a wife don't stop. You can't just stop husband and wife. I don't care what I don't care. You can be the president of the United States or whatever the case may be. A husband and wife is an ordained thing by God, and it don't stop. In other words, certain principles just stay there. In other words, you got to love your wife, and your wife must respect you. You know, and whenever that stops, you know, then that's when you're going to have problems. But anyway, just get on back to it. You know, we will amass some things, and congregation grew. We had notoriety all over around the country, around the world. You know, we ministered, cast out demons, acquired quite a few things. Now, one thing I'm realizing now, you learn, and one thing that you do learn, and one thing that you understand, and one thing that I understand is the fact that, number one, I am not God, and God does things the way He wants done. And one thing I realized in this particular situation, when something is not started right, very, very, very small chance for it to end up right. It must be by the grace of God. Now, as I was telling you, I left my wife, to be with this lady, and to marry this lady, divorced my wife. And the thing is this right here is that, at the time, you think, oh, well, this has got to be God, because we're ministering, we casting out devils, got favor, the whole 9 yards, making money, and it just seemed like, everything is just going great. Matter of fact, my family thought I was crazy. But yet still, they couldn't argue with the fact that things seem to prosper. And you see, you have to be very, very careful of what's prospering and what is prosperity. Because one thing about it is right here, when you lay down in the bed and go to sleep at night, you can't spend no money while you're sleeping. You can't spend no money while you're trying to go to sleep. You can't look at a house while you're trying to go to sleep. The thing is this right here, you got to have freedom in your mind. You have to do things right where you don't have nothing bothering your conscience. So anyway, what I'm saying is this right here. Eventually, me and this young lady, basically, kind of separated ways. She was in Jacksonville. We started a church in Fort Lauderdale. And the thing is this right here. As I ran the church in Fort Lauderdale, she was in Jacksonville as a public official. And it seemed like, I had the kids out here, ran the kids, took care of them and their, education, their sports career. And thank God, right now, speaking, as a proud father, is the fact that now they're in college, in sports, and the very plan that we made when we got down here, which we made a plan on what to do. And I had my part to play, which was to get them where they need to go to so they can get the training. And their part was to participate and work hard, and that was done by the grace of God. No jail, no anything, and they made it in school. Thank God, and glory be to God. And not to say that their mother didn't play no part in it, because she was working and she provided monies and things of that nature. Even though she wasn't here, didn't spend that much time here because she was into the political game. But the thing is this right here, we grew apart, and the thing is this right here, and her mindset is the fact that I wasn't doing enough in ministry, even though I was raising the kids and running the ministry down here, and she was in Jacksonville and things like that. But that's the way it seemed to be anyway. And she's beginning to travel with other people and other prophetic people, and it seemed like a thing where they was really. I don't want to put a bad name on it, but the thing is, this what it appears to me is the fact that they was more after the money more than anything. I've seen people, get prayed for and things of that nature. And then once they came down here, the minister in the church down here, it seemed the same kind of thing in reference to the money was an issue. Matter of fact, I guess it was a disagreement on how they would split money even before they even start preaching. Now, with me, I just love God, love God's people. I don't have no concern about money because God gonna provide. And this situation that really just kind of hurt my heart because I couldn't be around it. I couldn't be a part of that. And needless to say, they went ahead and did what they did, and just how just how things are done in church. I'm quite sure if you've been in church, you've seen some of it. You might get sidetracked by the signs, wonders, and miracles, but you got to understand what the focus is in someone that's really trying to make money or I can't think of the word that they use in the Bible, but anyway, they use it filthy lucre. In other words, they're trying to get money. And the thing is this right here is that, when you see signs and you see demons get cast out, you hear a good word, but then someone will say, well, if you believe what I just got through doing, if you believe that the demons got cast out, if you believe this word I got preached, then you got to believe the amount of money I tell you to give, then you better watch out. Because nobody has to validate what you believe. In other words, if God has given them an amount to give, they don't have to tell you anything about whether you believe this or that. They have to just say the amount, and then if it's God, then you won't have no problem giving it. You don't have to convince you about whether you believe this or what kind of show you where you ought to believe this because you saw this demon get cast out. So I noticed that because my twins they saw this going on in Jacksonville, and they sent me a video of it, and I saw it, and I'm just saying. And matter of fact, they're coming. Was they, Dad? Look at this foolishness. And so all I'm saying is this right here. I just couldn't be a part of it. So, but needless to say, got through disagreement, and so we're going through a divorce now. Matter of fact, the divorce is official. And one thing that I realize now in marriage, and this goes out to all ministers, husband and wife. And this, I'm talking to the person that didn't start to the ministry, because I did start the ministry. Everything was in the church name, and everything was on her, and everything, she was the head. Now, when divorce came, everything we acquired belongs to the church. And who's in charge of the church? The person that starts it. And we acquired so much, and we couldn't even come into agreement. Matter of fact, this lady didn't want me to have anything. Even though we acquired over $7 million worth of things, the house paid in full in Jacksonville, a house down here, and she wanted to take everything, the house and all cars. And I couldn't do nothing about it. Not a thing but pray. And my heart just goes out to other ministers, especially husband and wife, whether it be the husband or whether it be the wife that's participating and support all of them years. And then as soon as a person get mad, upset with you, and then they feel like you don't deserve nothing, that they got everything. And I'm just trying to tell you right now, you better find out right this minute what your name is on, what you, in other words, just in case something happened, you want to know how you're going to be taken care of. Because don't get like me, because it was a point where, they was going to kick me out my house. Take all the vehicles and say, leave. They say, you leave, and whoever other person in the house leave also. And who else was in the house? Me and my boys and my daughter. And you get a letter. As a matter of fact, I didn't get the letter. My twins got the letter. And when they saw the letter, they said, what person would kick their own children out? So the thing is this right here. That my heart just go. You have to find out, because don't get in a situation like I am, where you don't know where you're going. You worked hard, worked 20 years in something, and then all of a sudden now, it's like you don't deserve anything. And when you try to, even spend a little money, just to make provision, and I think, matter of fact, I'm accused of taking $55,000 from the ministry. What is $55,000 compared to $3.4 or $4 million worth of assets? What is that? $55,000 is nothing. $80,000 is nothing compared to what we acquired, compared to how hard you work, how many flying hours I spent on plane, how many people I prayed for, how many times I done fixed up a church, how many times I done fixed up the house, every time I done did this, carry the kids to school, sports, and whatever you name it. But whatever the case it was, we were successful. And now you don't deserve anything? The thing is this right here, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Just like that. It's just like the butt naked truth. What's true is true. What's a lie is a lie. And I'm here to tell you right here, all the truth gonna stand up. It gonna stand up no matter what, no matter how it's look. And so the only thing you can do is just put a bad name on someone and things of that nature. But I tell you what, if it's a lie, it's gonna fall. So you don't have to worry about that. And so the only thing I'm left with, I don't have nothing to lose. I don't have nothing to lose. I'm a certified mechanical contractor. I laid that down just to be in ministry. If I'd have stayed with certified mechanical contractor, I probably would have acquired quite a bit now. But I laid it down to be in ministry and raise these kids. And then after 20 years to walk away with nothing, out of everything that I've been through and acquired, I just want to say this right here, because I don't want no other minister, no other person that loved Jesus, that spent their time to build something up and see the success and see it prosper, and then all of a sudden get kicked off the mountain like you didn't do nothing, like you didn't do. I almost, I got the cussing demon away, but I almost cussed in, because it's just not fair. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. The thing is this, right? But I just wanted to kind of get that in the air so you know who you're talking to. Know who's talking to you. And not only that, but the thing about it is, if you ever want to even contact me, I'll give you my email address, my telephone number. The thing is this right here. We have to deal with the truth, because the truth is what's going to set you free. The truth is what's going to make you free. Matter of fact, whether you want to be set free or not, the truth makes it happen. Makes it happen. And the thing about it right now, I feel so good about telling the truth. Because one thing about it now, I can spend time with my grandchildren. Now I can see now the mistakes I made. I can go ahead and try to make up some of the time that I need to spend with my children and my grandchildren.